Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be having a look at 3-month goal setting, and I'm going to be walking you through what I do when I set my 3-month goals and showing you our new 3-month goal setting kit. This is the Paradise goal setting kit. We also do this in the More Love collection, which is like a pink colour, and yeah, I'll link those both below so you can check them out if you're interested in finding out more. So if you've already got one of these kits, this video is going to be packed with inspiration for how to use them and give you lots of ideas about how you can lay out your journals. But if you don't have one, that's fine, you can follow along as well. I've got loads of stuff to cover today and lots of tips and ideas for you for when it comes to setting your 3-month goals. So let's dive in. So the first part of this is looking back at the last 3 months and assessing where we're at and getting into a really good mindset for setting new goals. So there are 4 kind of questions that I think it's really good to get into at this point in order to get yourself in a good mindset for setting new goals, but also just have a bit of reflection and a little bit of honest reflection too on where we're actually at. So the first question looks at challenges that you've overcome in the last 3 months. So having a think about all the things that have been difficult that you've had to overcome in the last couple of months. If you're stuck for ideas on this, have a look back through your journal. That's a really great place to start because we often forget about the things that we've done. We're really good at focusing on the things that we haven't done, but having a think about what we have done and what we have actually overcome is a great place to start with. This will get you into the mindset as well of thinking, well, if I've overcome these challenges in the past, I can definitely overcome new challenges as well in the future, and therefore can set myself some good stretch goals. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is things you've learned. So think about how your skills have developed in the past few months. Again, this is a point that you can really celebrate your growth. So even if it's just small, so I like to think about every time I do this, have my designs improved, have my things like video editing, has that improved? And usually the answer is yes. So reflecting on that growth that you've accomplished can be really positive. Obviously, think about any big skills that you've learned, something you've never done before that you've now done, or maybe it's personal insights that you've had into yourself. If you learned anything about yourself or what you might have some natural talent in, what's been holding you back in the past, have you overcome any old limiting beliefs? Those are good things to think about as well here. Next up, we're going to look at doing things which are outside your comfort zone. Now, this one is a good one to do because when we set new goals and we want to push ourselves in new areas, we often have to do things that are outside of our comfort zone. And it's really easy to think that, oh, I'm not someone who does that. So reflecting on, again, those moments that you have done it in the past and you've done it in the last few months is a really great thing to do. It's a great reminder. Again, if you're struggling, look back at your journal, remind yourself of all the things that you've done which have been difficult, or if you really can't think of anything more recent and you do want to get the benefit of doing this, just rewrite something that you did further back ago. Just go a little bit further back to have a think about what you've done outside your comfort zone, because that's where the magic happens, when we push ourselves to new limits. And then reflections on how you can improve. So just think about, over the past few months, what could you have done better? And how could you have set yourself up better for success? So think about the habits that you've got. Think about those daily routines and how they're impacting your ability to achieve your goals. This isn't about being hard on yourself, but it is about being honest. And this is about growing. And in order to grow, we have to look at where we're not doing so well and look at how we can improve. So have a think about some improvements that if you could have done it all again, what would you have done better? What would you have done differently? And what do you want to take forward? And by the way, if you are really struggling with thinking about these things, just leave yourself a bit of space and then come back to them. Sometimes you'll find that throughout this process, actually, you might just get like sparks of inspiration when you're not just trying to think about like, oh, what am I going to write in this part? And it can be incredibly frustrating if you've kind of got that mental block and you feel like, oh, just move on to the next one and come back to it. Right, so the next thing we are going to create is an achievements page, and this is just a celebration of you and all the things that you've achieved in the past 3 months. So I'm putting together here a page of just absolutely packed with inspiration, packed with all that feel good vibes. This is all about getting into the right mindset to set new goals. And the best mindset to be in is one where you're feeling really, really good about yourself. So an achievements page like this is a great way to get started. So I'm using various things from this, the 3-month pack, just to create kind of like, it feels like a scrapbooky style page, layering up a few different stickers. There's plenty of places here that you can write on things. And just remember those important moments. Again, look back through your journal. If you've got one of our planners, there's a space to write in each week our weekly wins. So if you fill that in, this is a great source of inspiration for just going back and going, what did I actually do in the past 3 months? Especially if you don't really feel like you've achieved that much. I know sometimes we get to this point and think, oh, like I haven't got where I want to go and I've not done what I want to achieve. And that's okay. Like, you will have made some progress, and it's important to always celebrate that, because maybe, you've been thrown off course by something, or you set goals which are maybe a little bit unrealistic, but you hadn't done them before, so you didn't know they were unrealistic, and now you're at a point where you can learn from that and take that forward. So creating an achievements page is such a fun thing to do. It's also really lovely to look back on, especially if you're feeling a little bit down. Okay, so it's now time to get into actually setting our goals for the next 3 months. So I've split these out into personal goals and professional goals, and the way I'm going to split up my sheet in my journal here is having a page for personal ones and then reflecting on why they're important, and doing the same for professional goals as well. Little journaling hack here as well, if you want to create a nice header but you're a bit worried about a highlighter smudging your text, is to highlight the page first and then create your header spaces and then write on top of it, like I've done here. And I think it looks really nice in your journal, just to like separate out the different areas of goals. So you can split out here your personal goals however you want to, but just as an example, I've done relationship goals, self-care goals, and also health ones. Yours could also include family or financial, whatever feels right to you under the kind of personal goals area. But under each one, and then listing out specific goals that fall under those categories, just to make sure that I'm kind of covering all my bases, because it's really important to focus as well on things like health. I know for me particularly, I can get very, very wrapped up in setting my business goals. So actually taking a step back and going, well, I want to make sure that I'm also focusing on my health and my self-care as well, and making time for friends and family and making time to do fun things is also important. So almost kind of doing that for myself is a goal in itself. So splitting it up however you want to, and then kind of using those 3 areas to set your different goals. So the next part of this is, again, one of those things that you probably heard me talk about before if you're familiar with the channel, but thinking about why these things are important. So in my case, as I've already touched on there, I know that this is something that doesn't necessarily come naturally to me in a way, but making sure that I take care of myself is really important. So having just that moment of thinking, well, why is this important? Why should I care about setting these goals? And in those moments where you don't really feel motivated to work on them, your why is going to become like the thing that motivates you to do it. And really being able to connect with that at this point and just take time to reflect on that is really important, really powerful. So this is going to help you in the future to stay on track and to remember why these things are important. And I'm using here some of my favorite things that we've started doing recently, which is our sort of larger kind of quote. I've called them like washi trim style. So they're just like longer quotes, but they look really good at the bottom of a page. And yeah, I feel like this kit is perfect for this as well, especially when you're thinking about self-care and rest and taking care of yourself. So much good stuff in the Paradise kit, which just fits in so well with this theme. So now I'm getting into setting, well, professional goals, or in my case, this is business goals. So I've done a similar layout, and I've used the butterfly washi strip at the top of the page. I think this looks really nice, and then some of the trims as well in between. And again, splitting this up into 3 areas. So obviously I'm doing this from a business perspective, but I'll give you some ideas for how you could do this if you don't have a business and you are not on the rocky roller coaster of being self-employed. So I like to think about my goals, thinking about like design, on marketing, and then I also like to think about like bigger projects as well. So what are the most important projects that I want to do in my business in the next 3 months? So if you are thinking about this from a work perspective, you might think about what are the skills that you need to develop in the next 3 months? What are the big things that you want to deliver, which is going to help you kind of move to that next level and keep developing in your career? You might also think about some of the experiences that you want to develop. A lot of the time when we're trying to move up into different roles, and I've been in this position myself, is it's about having the sort of right tick box experience on the CV, isn't it? So again, having a think about those experiences, those projects that you want to deliver professionally and how that's going to help you grow is a good thing to think about here. Okay, so this next part is definitely one of my favorite pages to create, and it's a milestones page. So there's lots of different elements that you can pull off from the goal setting kit to help you create this page. There's lots of little things to write on, little sort of post-it note style. We've got the milestone kind of oval stickers as well. But the milestones page is great for two reasons, and that's firstly because it helps you break down your goals into what are the actual manageable steps that I need to do to actually reach them. So rather than thinking about climbing the whole mountain at once, you can think about just getting to base camp, for example. So here I am kind of setting out my milestones page. I'm going to use it for my YouTube goal, and again, thinking about how I get the next 1,000 views or 100,000 views isn't as scary as thinking about how I get the next 100,000. Well, it's all kind of scary sometimes, but anyway, so that's one of the reasons that it allows us to just break things down and make it more manageable. And then the other great thing, and this is where your ticks and trophies come in really handy, that you also get with this kit, is that you can tick things off when you achieve them. So you get that great boost when you hit that milestone that encourages you to keep going, and you get to look back at when you hit those different points on your journey. So have fun with this and create milestone pages for whichever goals it's most relevant for. So next, I want to pull out two questions which are again going to help you to really connect to your goals. A whole bunch of other questions in the 3-month kit, but I just want to pull out these two, partly because I don't want this video to be too long. But the first one is, how will I feel when I achieve this goal? So having a think about how are you going to feel when you achieve it, and writing about it, that'll really help you to connect to how important it is to you and why it's important, and it'll help you connect on a really deep and emotional level. And the second one, who else will benefit when I achieve this goal? Now, if the answer to that question is just you and you alone, that is absolutely perfect. There's nothing wrong with that, because other people will benefit from you being happy. Your friends, your family, people around you, they want you to succeed. They want you to be happy, so they will benefit purely if you're happy. But I picked this out as well. So if you have got a financial goal, and a lot of us have a lot of limiting beliefs around money, we feel even guilty sometimes for wanting things like a pay rise or more money, or if you want to achieve 1 million, does that make you greedy? No, it doesn't. But a lot of us do have those limiting beliefs. So starting to unpick them can start with who else benefits. So if you're financially better off, let's stick with this example, who else benefits from that? Well, you could donate to more charities, support more things that you care about. You could take more holidays. You could spend more time with your family. There are a lot of other people who benefit from you achieving a goal which you might perceive to be selfish deep down. So this is a great way to, again, reconnect to those goals, to know why they're important, but also to uncover any sneaky limiting beliefs which might be holding you back and secretly self-sabotaging you if you don't think that your goal is worthy enough for you to pursue it. Now let's create a fun and engaging action plan, which is, we can create a list of action plans, but I thought, why not do it a bit differently? So again, we're kind of going to combine the idea of the milestone page and a bit of a mind map here to get all of our actions and ideas down on paper. So again, just using all of those lovely kind of more journaling elements from this kit to create a bit of a map of all the actions that we're going to take. Again, this is a great place to use your little ticks and trophies stickers, because you can tick things off when you've done those actions. Good idea to make sure that you keep looking back throughout your book as to the goals that you've set, so you're making sure that everything is covered. But this is just a bit more of a fun way to explore all the action that you're going to take to achieve your goals. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's given you a bit of an insight into some ideas around how you can enhance your kind of goal setting practices. As I mentioned, you can grab these kits from the shop. They're available in 2 color schemes from our Paradise collection, which is this one, and our More Love collection as well, which is lots of pinks and beautiful silver foil and lots of cherry blossoms. So yeah, they're both available on the shop. I will link them below. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening along and watching this video. Please drop me a heart in the comments if you made it to the end. So without further ado, I will let you go now and go off and start achieving your goals, and I will speak to you all very soon.